Dun, dun, dun. Here we go. All right. Welcome to the Marcus and Manny show, where all the energy has been exhausted because we have had technical difficulties. For those who survived in the chat, thank you very much for surviving with us this long. And if you can hear me or can hear me, please comment below. But no trolling, because I will take those trolls very serious. I am Marcus, joined by Lord Manny as always.
Yep, no need for no introductions now. This is the third attempt that we're doing. Thanks to Eric for helping out with the audio issues.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to Eric, who's going to come on the next show and say, man, I really had to save their show. Their show is nothing without me. And they have nothing to do with these technology. But check out this background and this setup design. Come on. At least give us that.
Marcus has done some work with more graphics.
Yeah, more graphics. Very minimum work, but more graphics. And that's all we are. We're more show than sizzle. Oh, thank you, David. Thank you, everybody. So for the chat, we're going to answer all the questions after we continue each segment. So the first segment, we're going to cover a few things. The greatest match ever. Monday Night Raw, mostly just basically like one or two things. And last but not least, the wrestler who got COVID-19 in the PC. So, between each segment, we'll try to answer people in the chat. So, please, if you can, save some of your more outlandish comments or for later. I'll try to take note of them if I can. Yes, Eric, I did remove the white logo part of the logo. See, I'm distracted. Damn it. Let's get on with the show. We're going to talk about
the greatest show.
The greatest show ever. This is our greatest show. This is the standard for the show, or as I like to call it, the pre-show of the Thursday show, because it seems like the Thursday show goes without a hitch. The Tuesday show seems to always have the issues of me overthinking everything.
Well, this is the second ever Tuesday show, and what has happened? Chaos. Chaos has happened.
Disaster strike. So the Sharpshooters, or the Manny and Marcus show. Live. This is why you watch it live, is to get this. So, Manny, I'm going to ask you about the greatest wrestling match ever, Randy Orton and Edge. How did you feel about that overall?
So, let me preference this with, I never watched this match live because I got fed up with what I saw between the Viking... What did they end up being called? The Viking Prophets?
The Viking Prophets, the greatest faction of all of wrestling.
And I was going to say today, had they not had the Big Show not booked that match between them two for the tag team titles next week, I would have written them out of my wrestling history and never spoken about them again. So I turned off Backlash the moment this nonsense was happening.
Really?
So I didn't watch it live. Yeah. So I didn't watch it live. I watched it in the morning, and I got to say, had they not given it the title, the greatest match ever, I think I would be looking at this completely differently. I would be like, yep, they did some work out here. Probably one of the better matches WWE produced this year.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. They had homages to everything. It was so good.
Yeah. Oh, what? I like that you were so fed up with the Viking Raiders Street Fight. Like, that was the match you paid your money to see. Was the Viking Raiders the Street Fight. When they were advertising the greatest wrestling match of all time, you were saying, I'm talking about the Viking Raiders, the Street Profits, who fought ninjas.
No, Marcus. You got to remember, it was 2 a.m. for me at that point, and then I was like, I stayed up for this. I've put up with mini golf. I've put up with axe throwing, decathlon, bowling. For more nonsense. It was 2 a.m. I was like, do you know what? I've got work in the morning.
You know, I never took in consideration the time where you were at when it was at 2 in the morning and all of a sudden ninjas show up. I can see how that could be disheartening when I'm just waiting for the greatest wrestling match of all time. So I'm going to give my take on this one, and I'm going to argue that this was the greatest wrestling match of all time. Even greater than Alicia Fox and Melina on that one show that Cameron saw. For me, this match had everything going against it. It had, one, that it was billed as the greatest match ever. Thanks, Charlie Caruso.
It had a soundtrack.
It had a soundtrack from The Greatest Showman. You can blame all of that. It also had the adversity of not being in front of 12 to 15,000 people. You have Edge, who's coming back after years of injuries to come back for a match, even though he did have that street fight with Randy Orton at WrestleMania, but that was a lot of shortcuts. You don't really have to do too much with it. So, with that being said, you got Randy Orton in his prime. You got Edge coming back from retirement. And they go out there and they do a basic wrestling match with minimum breakage of the rules, if any of the rules were broken other than at the end. I thought what they did the best was sell better than anybody. They were selling every single move if it was life or death. The introduction of all the random superstars and legends moves into the match incorporated the history of wrestling. Samoa Joe on commentary was on point, and I enjoyed the piped in audio. I know people took issue with the piped in audio, but I seen piped in audio earlier in the week on ESPN during some boxing match, and they had it for every single match. It wasn't like it was the biggest match ever, but they had this piped in digital audio from, I guess, people. They said it was from people around the world. I'm calling bullshit on that because I feel like random people would say, "Oh fuck," or there'd be some random cuss words in there. So they did tribute to the Fink. I always enjoy a referee in a bow tie and a blue shirt. Charles Robinson was out there to make the call. And they went from move to move, and it escalated. There were no high spots. There were a few dives, but nothing really that was like, oh, flip dives, suicide dives. Everything made sense. And it ended
What did you make of the additional camera angles that kind of exposed, like, the commentators were actually talking at those points when the audio was clearly coming through?
Well, for me, the camera angles, I didn't like the one when Randy Orton did the DDT, when he did the middle rope DDT. I hated that one because that one made no sense. Because it looked like Edge was like, get the fuck out of here with the camera.
Yeah.
And then the lockup in the beginning, I liked. I don't know, maybe it just had this cinematic flair to it to me. And I was like, oh, I really like that one, even though I know they cheated to get that one. There's no way there's a camera under the ring that would see through the mat. So I didn't really like that camera angle.
I did like the shot from on top of the ring, where it was like the clap from WrestleMania 10, where it was Bret Hart versus Owen Hart. That was a good shot. Yeah, that was my favorite shot, and I think they need to incorporate that shot the most or more in other matches as well. Because when you're looking for somebody trying to grab the rope when they're in the submission, and you have that top view, you can see the distance, and it just looks really cool. Like, it was really nice. Yeah.
But I thought. And this is why I'm going to say it's the greatest match ever. Maybe because this match took place in what Randy calls a school, the Performance Center. And it was all these young wrestlers sitting around watching. I'd like to think that this match had an impression on them that you don't have to do all these high spots and do these dives. And you don't have to sell or fall through a random table or take cheap shots and things. That you can just have a straight-up wrestling match and have people entertained. This match was 40-something minutes long. And there was not a second when I wasn't entertained or enthralled with what was going on. I think Edge delivered his best spear ever. I thought the first RKO when they were going through the pins and motions, and it was like, oh, I didn't see that one coming. I thought that was it. And I was like, wow, that was incredible. But he kicked out. I was just in awe. And the match ending with a punt kick. And them learning how to do the punt kick in an empty arena because you don't actually have to connect ever with that punt kick.
I want to stay on the punt kick. Given all the controversy the week leading up to this, you had the thigh slap. Is Randy a bit of a hypocrite? Because you have to do a thigh slap to make that really sell that.
I would say he's in Randy's defense. I would say he's not a hypocrite in which he's not abusing the thigh slap. If you watch a Young Bucks match or a Gargano match or whoever, there's a million super kicks and knees that are always using the thigh slap. There was only one thigh slap in this match. And I thought at one point we were going to get Sweet Chin music and somebody was going to do it.
I thought that was going to happen about 5 times during tonight.
Yeah. I thought when Edge was going to put Randy in the sharpshooter, which I was like, oh, he's going to do the sharp. At first, I thought he was going to feed the 4, and I was corrected by Eric and Ryan going like, no, he's Canadian. He's going for the sharpshooter. And I was like, that makes so much sense. And so when he counted, I thought Randy or Edge were going to break out a super kick right after. But I thought the Three Amigos homage worked. Like, I was just enthralled. Like, it was a match that felt like it had Easter eggs and stuff. And I thought Samoa Joe was in his prime. And his excitement of this match, of him getting excited over chin locks and some of the basic holds, and like even the little things with the referee slapping Randy's hand away when he was like, don't touch his hair. Like, the referee never involved. They just say no hair pulling, but him being involved and looking in. Like, I feel like everybody, and I'm talking about everybody, whether it's commentator, the crowd, the production crew, I thought everybody was top notch, and I feel like this was the greatest team effort to make the greatest wrestling match of all time. The greatest.
Are you surprised that they left in the "I'm going to kill you, I'm going to fucking kill you, motherfucker"?
I honestly think, yeah, I think they left it in. I think they watched the match and was like, ooh, maybe we should take that out. And then maybe Vince was like, that's good shit. That's good TV. Him just yelling that, I'm going to kill you, motherfucker. Because it added to it because Randy was so frustrated. Because this was supposed to be an easy night for Randy. Randy told the story throughout the weeks of Edge couldn't beat him in a clean match. And here we are, like 30-something minutes into the match. And Randy's exhausted and selling and beat up. And he just landed. I forgot what he landed. And Edge kicked out. And he was like, I'm going to fucking kill you now. That's, like, it was to the point. It was to the point where he was just so exhausted and frustrated that he had to fucking kill him. He had to. And I felt that emotion. And I feel like it was great. Just overall. Like, I've seen great matches. Oh, go ahead.
Would you still call this a match, or would you call it one of those cinematic matches? I would have to put it with the cinematics.
See, I want to say it's like, it could go either way. Like, I feel most of it was regular match. Like, it had a nice flow of a regular match. There were the cinematic angles seemed like it was all done in post-production, in which they're going to do the lockup or the DDT shot, or and because they added in the audio. But I felt like it was just a straight up match. Like, I got lost into it.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like Gargano and Ciampa or Adam Cole Velveteen. This felt more like an actual wrestling match in which two people intertwine. And I would like to see more wrestling matches. And I didn't think this would be able to beat Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles, but I feel like it exceeded that as well. How do you feel about that?
I feel like it exceeded. And then Eric asked a very good question. Did you enjoy Randy telling Edge to go home to his family after he defeated Edge?
Yes. Because Randy
that's some cold ass shit.
Yeah, because, the coldest part about he's always name dropping his kids, going Ruby and Emmerich or whatever. And I feel like Randy has exceeded over everybody, and now he has captured the title of best heel in the game. By far. Like, I don't feel like there's no one. In fact, I'm going to go as far as say Randy is the best wrestler in the game today just because of this match, the promos he was leading up to the match, and even some of the storytelling he was doing to Edge in the I'm going to kill you, motherfucker, and now go home to your family. To Beth, to Ruby, to Emmerich, and I never need to see you again. You're done. Retire. And just
Who's
the savagery.
Emmerich? In it lyric?
I don't know. Okay, I don't know their names. All right, he says it every week. I thought it was Emmerich. It might be Lyric. For all I know, he's going home to Ruby Riott. All right. Dude, I don't know Edge's life. Okay, he had a kid in wedlock named Emmerich.
That is a very good segue into Raw, where Randy did actually justify himself as being the greatest wrestler ever now.
Yeah, he says
competing in the greatest wrestling match ever.
All right, now we're going to move into Raw, but does anybody in the chat has any questions before we move on to Raw, or anything we didn't touch upon in the opening segment that you would like us to address? Let's see. If they added the bells and whistles to AJ and Daniel, would it beat Orton and Edge? This is coming from Eric. You're supposed to save this for your show. I'm going to chime in. No, I just think it was two different type of matches. I felt like the bells and whistles were added to the greatest match ever because they wanted to sell the Madison Square Garden. If they would have randomly put this on SmackDown and added the bells and whistles, I feel like that would have been a distraction because I wouldn't have seen that coming. How do you feel about that, Manny?
I don't generally think that AJ and Daniel needed it. Like when you watch that back, if you had like a crowd experience going on on top of that, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much. Like I enjoyed it without it. So like I can't really say like would it have made it any better because you're sucked in with that raw emotion already.
That's like adding more cowbell to your favorite song. It was like I don't know if I'll need it. I like the song already, but if you had a cowbell to it, maybe it'd be great. Manny, what was your thoughts on a match that I thought was really good on the Drew McIntyre Bobby Lashley heavyweight title match?
That was really good, but then I feel like they just threw Lana in for the sake of throwing Lana in, and it just didn't make any sense.
Well,
it was a really good match, and they busted out some really like moves that they hadn't done in ages. So it added to what was going on, and I'm glad they're continuing the story of Lashley and McIntyre.
Yeah,
and I think we're going to get more from Lashley, and I think that's what we need. Like Lashley. Going into it, I didn't think Lashley is at the level he wants to be at. Now he's at a world. Now you can see he's actually putting in the work because he has to.
Yeah. So what I felt like in that match, that was one of the best heavyweight matches we've gotten in any promotion in a long time. These are two really big guys, and then they didn't phone anything in. They brought their best work to the table. The ending was predictable with Lana coming out because the story has the ability to Lana's going to screw Lashley out this title throughout every single Monday Night Raw in which MVP is like stay back and everything. And they built toward it. But I do like that they're continuing it all the way to Extreme Rules. All right, Manny, what did you think of the appearance? Oh, go ahead.
As Big E put it, it's just two big men bumping meat.
All right, Manny, what did you think of the appearance of Selena Vega? I thought she always looks good, except for on Raw in which she was dressed like some anime character. I don't know what she was cosplaying, but what did you feel about her
on Raw? I thought she was M. Bison.
Psycho Cruncher.
At Backlash, I had no idea what she was wearing with those big chunky white shoes and everything that's going on. I don't know what's going on with her whole faction. Like, there's like the massive dissension within her team. I feel like she needs to bring someone else in now as well, or she might just start hanging out with the other Mexicans down at NXT now.
I feel like the shoes she was wearing were the boots that Aleister liked to knock. That's what Aleister likes, alright? And the outfit today is all what Aleister likes. So we're going to move into Monday Night Raw, which the main story of the show was the return of Christian, who confronted Edge, in which Randy Orton, after declaring he's the greatest wrestler of all time. Normally people declare they're God after such a match, but he declared he's the greatest wrestler of all time. He is confronted by Christian, and he threatens Christian.
Wrestling.
Yeah, in wrestling.
A wrestling god.
You gotta scream it, man. God. You gotta scream it and bring out your cowboy hat.
No, you gotta feel it. Wrestling god.
Yes. You gotta feel it. Your soul has to come out of it. I gotta feel the presence of a wrestling god. And I felt that every time JPL came out. But Randy Orton challenges Christian into an unsanctioned match. Christian decides to contemplate his life and livelihood throughout the night if he's going to do this. In the end, he turns out to have this match with Randy Orton. He comes out in his regular street clothes and taped up. I was concerned if he had his gear. I thought things wouldn't have made sense. But he showed up. Ric Flair, who was sprinkled throughout the night for random reasons, showed up, betrayed Christian by punching him in the balls, and Randy Orton delivers the punt kick that killed Christian once and for all. And then proceeded to talk trash why the EMTs allowed this. So, Manny, what were your thoughts on the main storyline of Monday Night Raw?
Can I just point out, like, is there any time in your life where you feel like Ric Flair is the person, is the voice of reason in your life? Like,
Never.
given everything Ric Flair has done throughout his career, is Ric Flair really the guy to tell you, "Oh man, this isn't a good idea"? Because Ric Flair wouldn't listen to Ric Flair.
Ric Flair is only on this show because he needs the money.
Yeah, but
It's like it's a bad idea. Like, you don't listen to him. It's like a homeless person giving another homeless person advice. No one has the right idea. So when he turned on him, do you think this is a start of a new evolution? Or is Ric Flair going to be in Randy's corner? Or do you think this is a one-time deal in which he's punching him in the nuts?
I think it's just a combination of, why didn't you listen to me? You should listen to me. If you're not going to listen to me, I'm going to punch you in the nuts.
So you really think it's old man going, you know, you should have listened to me, and you know what? It's going to cost you your life. It's going to cost you. Bang! Right in the butts. Oh.
It's basically like the threat MVP gave to Apollo earlier. Of like, the only way you're going to keep the US title is going to be with me.
Eric, I feel it, for Eric in the chat, I feel it would be reversed. The Joker will be giving advice to Pennywise, because Pennywise is a terrible villain. He's terrible in the It movies. And also, to answer your question, Wes, I don't know about Christian and Adam Cole's build. Christian always seemed bigger. Adam Cole always seemed a lot smaller. I really hope... I don't think Randy Orton needs Ric Flair walking around him. I think Randy has been good on his own. I don't know where this is going. I'm assuming maybe he kills Ric Flair at some point. He did proclaim he's back feeling like the Legend Killer. He could punt kick Ric Flair. I don't know what it'll lead to, either Batista or Triple H maybe coming at him. I don't know. But I know him and Edge, it seemed like their storyline isn't over. It seemed like that's going to continue all the way up to SummerSlam, even though Edge has his torn bicep.
Yeah, but apparently that's an 8-month injury recovery time.
Oh, well, he ain't coming back anytime soon.
Yeah.
So where would you have Randy go with this, after this, now that he's killed Edge and sent him back home to his family, and Ric Flair's punching Christian in the nuts? Where do you have him going?
He needs to go to NXT. I want to see I want to see him face Ciampa.
I mean, that would be the thing to do, right? I mean, everybody's stuck in Florida. This would be a perfect time to see Randy branch out and fight these younger guys and actually work with some of these young guys. And I think he would actually improve some of these other guys and have them wrestle smarter. Whether he's going after Ciampa or chasing after Keith Lee or any other younger talents, I would be entertained by that. But I don't see anywhere on the roster he can go, like, legitly. Like, other than that, like, it doesn't seem like... I feel like him and Drew is wrong timing because he's declared himself the greatest wrestler ever. He doesn't really need the title. He doesn't seem like he wants the title.
He definitely said that in his promo. He doesn't need a title to justify him being the best.
Yeah. So, I don't know what he's gonna do. He's in the Undertaker vein now. Unless they plan on digging up the Undertaker to come back to fight Randy Orton. Which will also be bad. But I don't know how that involves Ric Flair.
Would you give Randy the Charlotte storyline?
Well, going to NXT? Yeah, absolutely. In which he, considering they're on the same page right now, which both of them don't really need any more titles.
But there would be so many good matches. You would get Keith Lee, Randy Orton. You have Ciampa versus Randy Orton, Karrion Kross versus Randy Orton, Gargano, Adam Cole, all good matches.
Oh no! Don't forget about Cameron Grimes, Mr. I'm gonna wear my hat and fight Randy Keith Orton.
I can't believe we did that on the main show.
But I'm all for him. I think he would elevate the NXT, and since NXT is in this war with so-called war with AEW and the Bella Twins, I'm wondering if that would be the ratings boost they actually need for their show. Like I feel like that would be the best scenario. Like
I think that actually answered what Eric asked about with Vince waste those matchups on NXT. I think their ratings those are ratings matches. So I would probably book that to high heavens, and then when you eventually get that, you'll get that spike in ratings.
Yeah, and then also, Randy Orton doesn't even have to wrestle on NXT. If he just showed up, cut a promo on, let's say, Ciampa or whoever about them slapping their leg or whatever he been talking about on Twitter. Equally, I feel like every wrestling fan, every love of God wrestling fan would go and watch that. And him versus Swerve Scott.
I'm sorry, Swerve Scott versus Randy Orton would be the worst match I've ever seen.
It would not.
That would be Melina versus Alicia Fox.
That was the greatest match ever. That would be the greatest match ever. Swerve Scott and Randy Orton would be the equivalent of Cody Rhodes versus what's the dude? Mark Quinn, but done correctly.
Yeah, it'd still be 3 stars then.
I feel like Randy would deliver 3 stars. But we got a motivated Randy Orton. So, Betty, there were other things that happened on Raw, and this is also coincide with Backlash. How do you feel about the Street Profits, Viking Raiders, the Big Show, Big Ninja, and Akira Tozawa?
Well, I don't understand why we're calling him the Big Ninja, because we all know what that sounds like.
It's really close. It's really close.
It's very
to Black Ninja.
A small slip up, and then we're having it. Then there's going to be a massive problem.
It's going to be a conversation. It's going to be a problem. And I think they have to give him a name after this.
I don't know why. I don't know why we need the Big Show in 2020. Like, he's not promoting anything. He wasn't promoting his Netflix show.
It was a nice cameo. It was a nice cameo. It wasn't. He didn't dominate the show, and he beat up a couple of ninjas. It's not like Big Show is challenging Drew McIntyre for the title.
Then he also spoke to Christian and then tried to go, oh, if Randy said that to me, I'm telling you what I'd do to him. Give him one of these. Randy ain't scared of that.
So just... Oh, man. I mean, Randy Orton is a little scared of that. Every old man has that. Big Show reminded me of that old man that says, oh, I'll give him some of this. 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's go. Like, but,
It's the Mrs. Dad's meme.
But I thought it was, he gave you the match you wanted. The Profits and the Viking Raiders are going to settle their score in a wrestling match next week. So you should be happy. I believe you're going to get this match next week.
I'm telling you now, I would have made a phone call to Jack Tunney to strip them of those titles and strip the Viking Raiders of their number 1 contendership for this, because this is ridiculous.
My theory with the tag team titles is that they should just be on all shows like the women's tag team titles. That way you have a better division. Because Raw only has these 2 teams. And Garza and Andrade seem to not be gelling right now on any level.
Where's Ricochet and what was his tag partner's name? Cedric Alexander.
You didn't even remember his name. How are they important, Manny, if you don't remember their name?
Oh, what about your boys? The rest.
This whole show is over. I shut it down. I'm going to answer David's question. If you missed earlier, we talked about the Orton and Edge main event. We both thought it was fantastic. It was probably WrestleMania main event worthy. Like, if it was the main event of a WrestleMania, it'd probably be the best main event we've had at WrestleMania in years. Because there hasn't really been that exemplary main event match at WrestleMania in a while. Oh, man.
Let's talk about MVP.
The MVP of Monday Night Raw is MVP. Who saw that coming?
Do you feel he just doesn't like white women? Because he spoke very rudely to that backstage woman, where this is a private conversation. I'm like, do you not see the camera in front of you?
He did not.
There's a whole camera in front of you two talking before she even appeared, and then he went out and even called Lana a thought, which
probably the highlight of the night.
I'm like, yes, in gimmick fashion, in kayfabe fashion, she is known to be sleeping around even when Rusev was around. Allegedly she was with The Rock.
Don't forget that Dolph Ziggler
um,
moment.
yeah, and what's his name? What was his name? Big Kaz and Enzo,
Oh yeah,
which
I
was the
remember that
elaborate
storyline.
ruse.
Yeah.
um, so I just definitely think MVP doesn't like white women,
Well, I
blonde
believe
white women.
what I believe and what I'm hoping, and this is the black person inside of me, in my soul, is telling me MVP does not like white people right now, and he is going to form the Black Union. I don't know if they're going to recall themselves the Nation, but it seems like he's talking to all the black wrestlers and trying to get them to not be jokes anymore. Whether it's R-Truth, Bobby Lashley, and Apollo. He was even in Apollo's ear talking about, you can't be going out there being stupid. You're going to lose that title real quick, defending it every week. Don't be Cody Rhodes.
But that is really good advice, though, wasn't it? I honestly felt like, do you know what? He's giving you sound advice, Apollo. You should be joining him, and he will make your career prosper.
Fuck you, Eric, in the chat. He says, is there a black person outside of me? Because I said there's a black guy inside. It's not. But I feel like MVP's going around talking to everybody. He's really carrying the show with his mic work and his managerial. Like, he seems like he has a motive and a plan. And calling people clowns and getting involved. I really hope that actually goes somewhere. And what else? The Iconics are fighting for the belts next week. Even if if they don't, they might fight Tegan Knox and Shotzi. But who knows? That may not happen. That's me scraping at the bed on that roll.
I definitely think Tegan Knox and Shotzi aren't taking those titles.
I don't know.
I think
the graphic they gave me otherwise.
The main focus is clearly going to be the Iconics versus Bayley and Sasha Banks. Like they even emphasized Sasha's little break from wrestling last year after the loss of that title.
Yeah. They even brought up that they sent them home packing. Also, my big question for you, Paul Heyman was, before we did our last show, is out as the executive producer of creative of blah, 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 blah. And Bruce Pritchard it in. Did you notice any difference between the shows of this week and the previous weeks when Paul Heyman was in charge?
Not necessarily. I thought the stories that went on, the continuations of stories were good. Like it built. I felt Raw last week was a good show, but like it was lacking something. Like going into Backlash, and then like, the continuation of stories into this one was really good. And but like I think it's too early to really tell like a massive difference, because like it was just a continuation. Like this. The stage was set from Backlash, and then all you had to do was kind of follow it, which is what normally happens. They don't normally just flip the script on the show after Backlash.
Yeah, my main concerns with this one, with the takeover, is that the people that MVP was pushing were Apollo and Lashley and, the Profits. But all these same guys that he was pushing were all featured on this show in a prominent role. Garza, Andrade, whoever. All these people. And I felt like there was no real big difference. The only difference was that Big Show was brought in. That's really the only change. And I feel like they used Christian really smart on the show. I feel like they really used Christian really smart on the show. He took no bumps. He fell to his knees.
Do you think this is a lead into possibly Christian coming back?
I don't think so. I remember hearing Christian somewhere saying that he can't come back. His situation is a lot different from Edge and stuff. I think he's in the Page category of not being able to come back.
And then the last thing we probably should touch on is Dominic.
Oh, I almost forgot. Man, chip off the old block. So far, he's a lot bigger. He was as quick as a cat. I mean, I just didn't understand his motive of getting a plane ticket to just slap somebody in the back of their head. That was his whole plan. I'm going to pay for a flight to Florida to just hit Seth Rollins one time and run away. That was his plan.
He did it. I don't feel Ray was that convincing on Skype.
Well, Ray's
Get
eye
out of
was
there.
the thing that distracted me is
No,
Ray's
get
eye was
out,
wide
get-
open there. Oh yeah.
Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out the ring.
And then he was like, "That's
With
my
no-
boy." At the end of the segment, he's like, "That's my boy." Yeah.
Like with no enthusiasm. Like, is he? It just proves all signs that Dominic is not really Ray's son. It's Eddie Guerrero's.
You all know it's Eddie's son. Shout out to rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero. You have good genes. But Dominic looked good, and Seth seemed evil, and he did some pure heel work on the mic. And I thought Raw was a solid show. Not a lot happened of importance, but it did seem to be progressing past Backlash and seeing where we're going to go next. So, Chris, you said Ray's promos always suck. For the most part, there's sometimes he deliver it right. Like, you can tell he was not passionate being on Skype. Or whatever video they shot before then and said, we're going to play this, and then he going to say, damn you.
Well, I felt like the "you son of a bitch" quota was already taken with Christian lead starting off Raw with that. So like I don't think Ray could stay there a second time.
And to answer David's question, we're talking about Dominic Guerrero / Ortiz or whatever. Gutierrez.
Well,
Dominic Gutierrez.
They're calling him Dominic Mysterio.
Because that's what he
Which
signs.
This sounds so stupid. Like, that's not his surname.
Why don't you just go by Rey Mysterio II? I'm just going to adopt your name. Or something. I don't know. Boy. Here we are. Alright, so now moving on to the final story of the show. The big news of the day. A WWE trainee wrestler in a performance center contracted COVID-19. According to the stories, the wrestlers didn't find out until it was released on Twitter that the virus had been spread. They canceled all tapings for today and will do a strict cleaning and test all their wrestlers to ensure the safety of their performers. Manny, how do you feel about this COVID situation for the WWE?
I think it was bound to happen because given WWE got quite a lot of criticism about not regularly testing people that were coming in and out of the performance center. I think they just had a couple of tests to say, yeah, you're okay. But like, I think you need to routinely be checking people that are coming in and out for the benefit of the show, to keep the whole show safe.
Yeah. For me, like you said, this is bound to happen. Earlier in the week, or Ezekiel Elliott of the Dallas Cowboys got COVID-19. Eventually, everybody's going to have somebody that has this virus. It's going around, it's spreading, and people are criticizing WWE's precautions of how they're handling the situation, but they're handling it just like everybody else is handling it. I know in my situation, they plan on only taking temperatures at my job and doing a questionnaire. How do you feel? You feel sick? Don't come in. I think Eric, in his situation, they gave him a mini little bar thing and said, good luck, sir. At grocery stores, not everybody's being tested. And then you gotta take a point.
This is Eric at work. He's been told to. This is Eric at work.
It was like you can either
That's
take
how much
the
protection
screen.
Eric has at work.
You can either take the screen or you can duck. Exactly. And as Wes said, this is what Roman Reigns feared. I mean, it's smart for the people who feel like they're at health risk to stay away. Remember, these guys are contracted to be there. They can be like Sammy, be like Roman, and not come to work and be safe as much as possible. But Vince McMahon is a Trump supporter, and in the day of being a Trump supporter, you don't wear masks, you don't take precautions, and you throw giant rallies. And to most people, they think this COVID virus, they're not taking it as serious, and then they don't take the precautions or whatnot. So I don't hold it 100% against WWE. I think I read somewhere with the wrestlers receiving a full recovery, and we're just. I feel like everybody's rushing to open up anyway, so you can't blame WWE entirely. It's society as a whole as how we're treating this virus. In I'm saying for America's standpoint, and how we are saying, it's not that bad. We'll be okay. But numbers are on the rise. So it was bound for somebody to get it. My thing is for AEW, I hope they're taking the same precautions because I believe that they're going to have a COVID case come up eventually too. I know they're testing everybody that go into the arena, or they say they're testing everybody that's going to the arena, but there's a lot of people and a lot of stuff going on, and they're the only people I see that actually attempting to have a crowd in their shows, in which they have all these people and all these wrestlers around, and I'm watching all these UFC, boxing, and everybody else. No one has these numbers. I do got it. I got it, and I'm not going to tell anybody that I don't have it. That's why I'm doing this show today. But
we don't test at the shop at DSPN.
No, we don't believe in the virus. I don't wear a mask either. My beard's my mask. That's how I live.
And we don't throw piss on each other either.
Yeah, the quote Eric, who's paraphrasing the president: "If we don't test the numbers don't increase." So you never know who's gonna have it. So I feel like this is just one of those scenarios in which people are dumping on WWE, but you can dump on the United States or whoever as a whole, a community as a whole, who's not taking this virus as serious. So,
it's mostly the people that were protesting their freedom of the lockdowns. I'm just like, okay, so you don't want to be safe. If you die, you died. I suppose that would be the next message going out there.
Yeah, it's all that. Like, I feel the protests and stuff is righteous and stuff, but there's always the backup. We are in a pandemic, guys. I know that you guys want to take the precautions, but we are in a pandemic. And fight for your freedom, but it's at your risk. Where I don't see excuses like, I'm going to go to a Trump rally for it. I'm not going to die for that. Like, hey, Mr. President, when he's like, don't wear your mask, and if you get it, you can't sue me. Like, I don't feel like that's the safest environment. Excuse me, I'm gonna get some water. I talk too much. Manny,
well, your beard is currently beard is currently getting heat in the chat. Where firstly, it's just Eric's jealousy, but Chris has said you got a Mark Henry beard, but it's more of a Kimbo Slice beard.
I would like to think that I'm more famous enough that it's a Marcus beard. Like, this is the exclusive Marcus beard. No one has it as thick. It doesn't have any holes anywhere. It's decently lined up. It's very beautiful. I'm a very beautiful man, and I don't even like talking about myself.
Well, it won't be called the Marcus beard unless we get more followers and more subscribers, more viewers. So tell your friends, like and subscribe.
Bravo! What a promo right there. What a promo, Manny. Bravo! You're a pro. I wouldn't even thought of that transition right there. That was Eric level.
Thank you, sir.
That was Eric level of transition. So, guys, we have come to the end of this show. Does anybody have any more follow-up questions that you would like to ask? We give you guys like 2 minutes. I don't know. Probably not 2 minutes. If I don't see a question, the next thing, we're out.
Do you think you're more famous than Marcus Bagwell?
I'm sure I'm more famous than Marcus Bagwell, but if you said Buff Bagwell, more people would know who that is.
He's buff, he's tough, and he's whatever the rest of that was.
He was on the Sting DVD, the Lost Tapes, and he was a very young, and Sting was like, this is a very young Marcus Bagwell. He's going to be something one day. I really can't wait to see what he's doing. I was like, he's just going to be buff. He didn't really turn into much. He did one porno. If you guys would like to ask us more questions, please email us at thesharpshooters@gmail.com. That is DA, the Sharpshooters. If you found this page, you know how to spell it. That's really it. I really got nothing else to say.
If you've got any ideas or any talking points that you want us to talk about in future shows, whether it be the main flagship show or these, would you call this a spin-off?
It's the spin-off. This is the Untitled.
The Untitled spin-off.
This is the show that doesn't request a title. We don't need a title. Like Randy Orton, we don't need the title. It's the Marcus and Manny show.
Hey.
What an ending! Oh, wow.
Answer the man's ice cream question.
Oh, it's still going on. Oh, what ice cream question? I missed it. Actually, Elliot, what's your favorite ice cream? I told you my favorite ice cream is vanilla ice cream in which I have to dip fresh strawberries into it, and I can eat it one by one. Thank you very much.
Judging you, so I don't know why that. Why is that your favorite ice cream?
Fresh strawberries are delicious, and vanilla ice cream is delicious. And if you have fresh strawberries inside vanilla ice cream, it's delicious. And if you say, why don't you just eat strawberry ice cream? It's not the same because those are frozen strawberries, not fresh strawberries.
Are you on your period?
Every now and then. Every now and then.
So I'm quite basic. I like chocolate ice cream. So
so yeah, that's the end of the Marcus and Manny show for the Tuesday edition. Tune in live Thursday, where the audio problems will not take place, where we will get this done in one shot, where we will have the rundown of AEW versus NXT, and who knows what other craziness happens in between there. So I am Marcus the Grand Finale, and this is
Lord Manny Hayes.
And we are the... Oh,
like,
go ahead.
I messed up the ending because I didn't know what I was going to say.
Let's try it again. I'm Marcus the Grand Finale. This is...
I'm Lord Manny Hayes. And like and subscribe.
Oh, what?
Tell your friends.
Wow, we did it. We did it. It's over. Woo! It's over. Hallelujah. Thank you.
Have we muted?
Nope.